Hi, my name is Jake Ingram, and I'm going to be talking about Leave No Trace in bear country specifically. And I'm going to start out with some things that are more around the house or local. You know, towns that border national forests, towns that border mountains, these towns that are in bear country, it's a lot more applicable to your everyday life than you might think. I'm from Oklahoma, a place where we don't have the bears like we do here in Colorado. So moving out here, it was, I don't want to say it was a shock, but it was almost shocking how many human-bear interactions they have a year. And they have a dedicated bear resource officer, and you know, it's just different. But you're just as likely to run into a bear in town at night, you know, messing with trash, as you are on the trail, if not probably more likely to see one in town. But to start with, I would say the number one thing around your house is your trash. Your waste disposal needs to be responsible, and it needs to be in a bear-resistant trash can or a bear-resistant dumpster. And I use the term bear-resistant because they're dedicated to getting into them. You know, I've seen pictures of them pried open, and they will get into them. If you let them play with them long enough, they'll destroy them. It doesn't matter how tough they are. And we've come light years from the old metal barrels with a trash bag stuffed in them, you know. But bear-resistant trash cans, and if at all possible, you need to wheel them inside if you have a garage with an opening door, or get them put away, you know. The dumpsters are self-explanatory, although you can't move them. They have these huge locking mechanisms on the outside that are supposed to keep bears from getting in them, that put a metal bar over them. But if a bear is given enough time and opportunity, they can get into those as well. So, but it's important to keep them shut. A lot of the ones around town you see are open. It takes just a few seconds to go out of your way and shut the dumpster lid and lock it. Another big one for locally is keeping your car locked at night, especially, which they have numerous bear break-ins. You know, they know how to open doors. A lot of the bears are trained, or they've trained themselves. I shouldn't say trained, but they know how to open car doors. If you have some strong-smelling food, or you've had takeout, or anything in your car, or you've hauled trash off in your car, that scent is going to linger for a while. So you want to make sure and lock your car, especially at night, but even during the day. It's just good practice. Keep your car locked. And it's a lot like a bear canister, because if given enough time, they will destroy it to try to get into it, but they're not usually going to have that time. So again, even with your car, it's best to keep it in your garage if you can. If you cannot, that's fine. You know, it's just extra layers of prevention. But on keeping your garage door, you need to try to keep it closed as much as possible. If you leave your garage door open, they will get in your garage. The bears will rummage, you know, through your trash can, or if people store, a lot of people store pet food in their garage, right? So you need to keep that closed as much as possible. Another one is leaving pet food outside. You do not want to do that. If you feed your dog outside, or your cat, you know, your pet, pick it up as soon as they're done and leave. You can't just leave it out free range. That is a huge bear attractor. So are those bird feeders, the bird seed feeders that feed seed, any kind of like those peanut butter blocks that people put out with seeds on them for birds. Anything like that is going to attract a bear. It's very little risk for high reward, so they're going to go for the bird feeders every time. They also recommend here in town, especially or in this area, if you keep bees, the bears frequently get into the hives. So they'll put small electric fences around them. They're attracted to fruit trees, so you need to make sure you keep your fruit trees, you know, gleaned. As soon as the fruit's ripe, you need to collect it. You don't want to let it pile up. Your garden, they'll get into your garden. A lot of people keep a small electric fence around their yard or their garden. And I think that pretty much covers the local basics, other than if you see a bear, don't approach it. If you run into a bear in town digging through trash, you know, don't approach it. Call the appropriate resource, or try to scare it off at a, you know, responsibly. Don't ever approach a bear. The next thing I want to talk about is food storage. This is a bear canister. It's a hard-sided cylindrical object. It is designed to keep the bears out of your stuff. And what you're going to keep in here is food, smellables such as deodorant, trash, food scraps, toothpaste, toothbrush, any kind of medicines that have a smell, cosmetics, anything like that. And how it works is it's got this is a Bear Vault, and there are several other different kinds, but it's got these 2 pinch points, and you've got to see. Even I have trouble getting into it. You push it to the first one, you press that down, and that's the first, the second, and then you can get it off. And those are the kinds of things you're going to put in, you know. I like this one specifically, but there are many others. There are other kinds. There are these sacks called Ursacks, and supposedly they're very good. I haven't used one, but anything is better than nothing, in my opinion. There are many resources out there to show you how to properly hang your food or your backpack, you know. And as far as that goes, you know, this is something that you're going to use backpacking. If you're just in a front country campsite, a lot of the time Forest Service has installed these metal bins that lock. They're a lot like the bear trash cans, you know, where you have to reach up under the handle and flip a little lever and open it. You can put your food in there, and that's your best bet. If you're in a place that has one, you can store your food in your car. It functions a lot like a big bear canister. If they want in it, they're going to get in it, but it's a layer of protection. More than likely, they're going to get scared off before they get in your car. This is something you're going to use backpacking, or, you know, where you're a long ways out. You're not in a developed area. This is more backcountry type, through hiking, or you're on a backpacking trip for 2 or 3 days. Cooking, and this applies for home as well. I forgot to mention it earlier, but you don't throw out food scraps. Same as when you're out backpacking, you don't throw out food scraps. And you do not cook where you camp. You cook away from camp. I don't have a specific distance, but I always try to cook at least a 30-minute walk from where I'm going to be sleeping, because it's going to create, you know, you think about when you eat, if you eat at 4 and you cook, you're creating this big scent cloud, right? And you need to walk far away from it before you set up camp, because that is going to attract things. You don't leave any scraps out. If your clothes are heavily scented by what you cook, you need to put them in your storage solution. Same as locally, don't approach bears. Be loud, but be respectful of others and respectful of the wildlife around you. And this concludes my basics on Leave No Trace in Bear Country. Thank you.